Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the most toxic team for the current Spring Cup meta, and this is going to be a team that, if you saw my last video, I kind of copied from my opponent, and I kind of want to try it out. So yeah, today we're going to take a look at a team that you're most likely not going to enjoy going up against, but I still want to try it out just to see on how easy you can win with this team. And we're going to have a team, of course, of Steelix, so the Diana as a Shadow, both of them, and we're going to have on the back the Wigglytuff. This is going to be the most toxic team you can run in the current Spring Cup meta by far. There's not really any doubt about that, because you have so much fast move pressure, but not only this, you also have so much debuff pressure. You have the debuff pressure of Icy Wind, dropping the opponent's attack. You have the debuff pressure of Psychic Fangs, dropping the opponent's defense. And you have the debuff pressure of Poison Fang, which is also going to drop the opponent's defense, which means that, especially with Pokemon like this here, that they all have a lot of fast move pressure, if you drop defense, this is kinda significant. Like, you are doing so much more damage all of a sudden with moves like Charm or the Stab, not super effective Stab, but Shadow boosted Sucker Punch as well. It's just kind of crazy, and this is kind of the main idea behind this team, I think. It's just trying to overwhelm over a long time with debuffing and the fast move pressure, and it's also super strong. It is crazy strong. We're going to have, the Dartrix against us. We're going to be able to go for the Icy Wind. We can stop out. We have the Poison Fang coming in. That's going to knock out the Dartrix as well. Good game there. There's nothing they can do here, really, and we can move on to the next opponent already. We won with 3 Pokemon in a shield, which is kind of crazy. Wigglytuff is going to be next against us, and we're going to be able to swap out into our own Wigglytuff, which is going to be the ideal play, kind of. They decide to go for an interesting play here, which I don't think is actually the right play. It's going to be the Icy One from the opponent. Why do I not think this is the right play? Is because with us going for the Swift here at the same time, we're actually going to be able to reach another Swift a bit faster now, which means we can win either Switch or Shield advantage, which is something I should have never been able to do here in the scenario that we were in. And now we can go even to the Steelix to take the hit, and we still have now basically, we got rid of the hardest answer so far for the Diana. Diana has an energy advantage, and we have a shield advantage as well, as they're gonna go into the Altaria. And Diana is a Pokemon I want to try out multiple times. I don't actually think I featured it yet on YouTube, because I tried out multiple times. It never really worked out for me. But now this team feels a bit different. This team feels a bit stronger. As the Sky Attack is coming in, we're going to be able to see the Greninja coming in against as well. And this is going to be perfect, because we have not only the Poison Fang here, we also still have the Shadow Steelix with Thunder Fang as a super effective hit against them, which is going to allow us to guarantee win this battle. There's nothing they can do. This Greninja is getting farmed down, and just so brutal to see on how the opponent is getting destroyed non-stop just by the insane amount of fast move pressure that we apply with our team. It is crazy. So, Piloswine in the lead. We have a more fast move pressure than the opponent has by quite a bit, which means as well that I think we would be able to just farm them down in the 2 shields. But of course, the opponent stops out into the Pelipper. I make actually a very big mistake here. I should have never went for this charge move. It was absolutely not necessary to go for this move, as I have that Steelix here with Thunderfang already. I would have been able to just swap out straight away, get a ton of energy, and actually would have ended up in a way better spot. I would have had Poison Fang still on my lead, I would have had more energy on my Steelix, and I would have ended up at the exact same amount of health on this Pokemon as well. So it is definitely a big mistake that I just did there that could actually cost us the battle here as well. We still have the Psychic Fangs coming through here, dropping the opponent's defense, but also getting the final shield. I don't get the fast move through. This is a very bad for us, because now they have they should have got more damage onto them already. They would have went down actually at this point, I think. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, because they have the Gyarados in the back, and Diana against the Gyarados without shields is just deadly, and so we win still, but we could have won this even easier. Alright, Shadow Mamoswine against us. This is going to be an alright matchup here as well. In comes the Togetic. I fear that there's a Togekiss still in the back, but Togetic as well is going to be a bit tough. They have resisted fast move damage. Togekiss would have the same, but they have Heat Wave here, which is going to two-shot us. I do want to have alignment though, and so I'm kind of forced to shield here, but at least I'm going to end up with a bit of energy as well that I can utilize in the upcoming matchup then afterwards. We're going to see the full farm coming through, and then comes now again the Mamoswine from the opponent, so you can reach out for the Crunch. I should be able to swap out here as well into my Diana, because we got them already low. I have Poison Fang just in case they are going to have the Togekiss in the back, which I assume they're going to have, and they do have that Pokemon. So Poison Fang is coming through, should get the shield from the opponent, but gets mainly the debuff, which I'm looking for. The debuff I'm looking for, because now they would be even in a position where Charm could farm them all the way down, which is kind of what I'm trying to get them into that position. But also we still have the Thunderfang here, and as they have the fast move that's resisted, I will be able to force them to throw another charge move, get them insanely low, and now it's a Wigglytuff time, and as you see, we just charm them down, and they have nothing they can do here. Like, so far, it just looks broken. Like, it's just a broken team. There are some Pokemon that can be a bit tricky. Sometimes I went immediately, by the way, I think 5-0 with this team. And then afterwards, there were a few matchups that are a bit tricky. One of them is actually kind of this one here as well. Drapion is kind of tricky for this team. I do feel like I kind of maybe misplayed this. I could have maybe went for Poison Fang and then swapped out into my own Wigglytuff. But I decided to, okay, actually, at this point, it doesn't even make too much sense. I should just let this move go and go into my Steelix because they have the Swampert, I think, in the lead. And I kind of need to play it to my own advantage here. And my own advantage is if my Steelix doesn't have to go up against the Swampert. So I feel like I kind of messed up already as they're going to go into the Swampert right now. I can go for the Psychic Fangs, which at least drops them a little bit. And drops especially their defense stat. But as we see here, defense coming up. But defense is going to drop here for the opponent. But they're still going to have a ton of energy. Hydrocan comes through. I can go to the Mariana, trying to force him to throw, and now just try to win against the opponent with my Wigglytuff. As I'm gonna get an energy lead here, never mind. The opponent actually undercharges, so I don't. And now it's going up against that opponent's Togekiss. It's not the worst matchup though, but I have to be very mindful of them catching the move. I assume they're gonna try to catch the move very soon here on the Drapion. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna throw. I'm just not gonna throw my move. I'm just gonna wait here and go for my fast moves. They sub onto the Drapion. I predicted correctly. I go for the Ice Wind to drop the opponent's attack here, so hopefully I can still survive this pack, which works out beautifully as I can still get the Swift off. This was perfectly played by me. The Swift is going to knock them out, and we can move on to the next opponent. The battles are, by the way, insanely fast, of course. With a team like this, it's kind of what you would expect. Here's Hopper straight away, because Steelix, of course, has double super effective damage. It kind of forces the opponent to think fast, and a lot of times they don't think fast very well. And in this case, for example, they go into a Wormadam, which is not a matchup that they can win. Like, it's just straight up not a matchup they can really win, unless I'm going to play it out to the point that I just get shield advantages, because here they actually get the defense drop onto us, which is devastating, of course, but we can win this matchup here easily. As they have Sucker Punch now, they do some better damage against our Steelix, but Sucker Punch alone is not going to help them at all, as their charge moves are all resisted from Wormadam. In comes Psychic Fangs. We're going to be able to go into our Mightyena now as well, and we can try to go for the Poison Fang against them as well. We shield up the move. It is going to be the Awkward Tail, and we can go for another Poison Fang to try to knock out the opponent's Gyarados. Gyarados coming in here. Gyarados is going to, not enjoy the damage at all, and I could just shield this again. I'm gonna let this move go. It's gonna be the Twist. I can still even survive that. They only have one Pokemon left. It's gonna be that Swampert. I can debuff them as well here, which is perfect for ourselves. And we can go into our Wigglytuff afterwards, which is gonna be able to knock them out. There's no way they can win this. I can just shield up the first one, just in case it's like a Sludge Wave. But at the end of the day, they're running Sludge. Sludge is not going to knock us out, and we can farm them down easily. So next up, we're going to have Mightyena against us. This is going to be, again, a matchup that is going to be quite neutral, because we have Mightyena against Mightyena. I have a very good IV Mightyena, and this is actually, I think, where my win streak that I had so far might be coming to an end. And it's going to be because of a very fun occasion, which I just kind of want to say here already. It changes everything, and this is exactly this one. We just won the CMP tie just to lose it the second time. So we have the exact same attack stat between our Mightyenas. I was like, okay, I'd rather get the energy advantage on my Wigglytuff. In hindsight, that was the worst play I could have done. Because I, of course, don't know what they have in the back. I assumed they had my team, like they have here right now as well, that I copied, of course, from a player I faced in the last video. But they didn't. They have Corviknight. And Corviknight against Wigglytuff is a very good matchup for that Corviknight. And I tried to own to catch the move there, but I was a little bit too slow, which is not really ideal. I'm going to try to get out of here with the Icy Wind Store. That is kind of my goal. I am going to be able to still do that. The opponent is going to get me super low though. But what we see in the back is going to be Gurgeist, which is a hard counter to the Steelix. So now imagine I would have won the second CMP tie as well, or I would have won just generally the CMP tie there. I would have been able to align my Steelix against the opponent's Corviknight, which is generally a good matchup for the Steelix, and would have had the Wigglytuff against the Gurgeist, which is generally a good matchup for the Wigglytuff. So like it's just all came down to that CMP tie. Alright, Tentacruel. Not a bad matchup at all. We're going to have here the Crunch Ridges coming through. This is going to allow us to do some solid damage against them quite immediately. But the main benefit of this matchup is that we are avoiding it with our Wigglytuff, and this is basically the best case scenario, because a lot of times people just only have one real hard answer to Wigglytuff and not two, and in comes Fortress, so they have two. So that is not as great, but it's still alright because at least we have alignment. And we're gonna get both of the hard answers to the Wigglytuff out. There's no way they're going to have a third hard answer to the Wigglytuff, right? So Phantom is coming in here. We're going to have the Steelix, of course, going in here against the opponent's Fortress. No point of going Wigglytuff against Fortress here at all. The Phantom is coming in, not doing that much, especially with the fast move being resisted, which is kind of handy for us. And we can go for the Crunch in order to try to pressure the opponent even further. Crunch is coming in, doing some solid damage. Gonna put them into farm down range basically here afterwards. As this Phantom is coming in, we're going to see the Pokemon in the back as the Spiritomb when we still win this battle. So yes, they didn't have 3 answers for Wigglytuff, they only had 2 and 1 real weakness there. Okay, against Quagsire, you kind of have to be careful. This is the thing as well for this team. You kind of want to utilize your shields early. This is really what you want to do. You want to use your shields as early as possible on your Mediana, because Mediana is going to utilize them the best. It's the best Pokemon for the 2-shield scenario. As you're going to see, we were able to now knock out a Pokemon. But not only this, we're going to have A, alignment, but B, also not still the option here to debuff them with the Poison Fang. And I'm going to swap out here though, because while I have alignment, they're going to be actually not that bad against our backline, and I'd rather go for the shield here to deal with them a bit with my Steelix, and hopefully I can go ahead and still deal with a Piloswine somehow. But actually, I feel like both of the Pokemon they have left are mainly, I don't know, like are actually very good against our Steelix, so like it's going to be a bit difficult for us. But what I can do is actually catch this move, and you might think, okay, that's going to be like the Icicle Spear. No, they're actually running high horsepower, which is very much unique. It's not really what you would expect at all, and it's going to allow me to at least survive that. But here's now the issue: they're going to go into their Togekiss, and they should knock me out here. But they played quite well. They're undercharged as far as I can see that, and they put me into farm down range. But I can still go for another move here, but the issue is now that I have double resisted fast move damage against them with my Steelix, and while they're super low, I'm not doing a lot of damage. I can go for the Psychic Fangs, which is in this case actually the ideal play because we had unaligned fast move turns, but we would need to survive another Powder Snow in order to win this battle, and I'm fairly certain Wigglytuff is just a tiny bit too low, and yeah, well done by the opponent though, well played. Okay, horrible lead, of course. This is going to be the Togekiss. We have some super effective fast move pressure here at least, which is going to help us out for the late game. I can use a shield here as well, which means we're now unaligned by around 15 seconds, and they swap out into the Umbreon. And this is where like the unalignment kind of matters, and here's where I had to kind of do a bit of an interesting decision. I don't want to throw my charge moves, but I'm actually going to do it, because I was fearing that I otherwise take too much damage onto my Steelix, but also I kind of want to swap out as soon as I can. And I can't do that actually, because the opponent is going to go for the move at the perfect time, which means now the opponent is going to be in a position where they can stop out very, very soon. They can stop out very soon, but they don't. They just stay in here, and I don't really understand why, because now the Umbreon can go for the Psychic, and they go into Dunsparce. Alright. That's actually good, because now I have kind of the alignment that I kind of still want, in a way. Because what I can try to do is I can try to get them low, of course, but I can go into my Mightyena afterwards and they're locked into this matchup still. And this is kind of what I will try to do here. I can go into my Mightyena, they're locked in this matchup, they're debuffed, they're not going to knock me out here at all. They are not going to put me into farm down range either, but they're going to allow me to maybe go for this Poison Fang here. And now they're dropped on their defense and they're locked into Togekiss, which yes, is going to be good against my Mightyena and against my Steelix. But it's not going to be able to knock them out here because they still have that shield left and I have those Psychic Fangs that I stored up earlier. And we are kind of getting into a position where everything loses against especially my Wigglytuff. And so Umbreon comes in here. We're going to be able to go into our Wigglytuff. We can go for a shield just to keep this Pokemon alive, because I think that's going to be my best play. Turns out they go into the Dunsparce. We can farm them down, and that's going to be a wrap. This is going to be a good game. Final battle for the day. We have Gyarados against us here. This is going to be perfect. This is going to be a matchup that I actually this time around going to stay in. And you might wonder, okay, why would you do that? I expected the opponent want to swap here, and they did do swap here. And this is something that it's just based on how I felt there, because I know that they're not going to win the 2-shit scenario against me. And here's the one thing as well. In the meta that we're currently playing, there are quite a lot of flying type Pokemon and quite a lot of pure water type Pokemon. I thought that they're very likely going to have Body Slam and Wild Charge. It makes the most amount of sense for the moveset for the meta, and so I knew that my Steelix is insanely safe here, and was insanely safe, as Body Slam spam is going to still do some sort of damage, don't get me wrong, but we were able to kind of soak up all the energy from the opponent. They can't go into their Gyarados because we do double super effective damage, and so they reveal their final Pokemon, which is Quagsire. We can go for the Crunch here, doing a little bit of damage, and now we can swap out straight away. Okay, we get the shield here. We can swap out straight away into my Mightyena. If they go back into their other Pokemon, into their, what's it called? the Gyarados. I would have been able to go for the Poison Fang, but they stay in. Crunch is coming through. They let the move go, and that is a big mistake because now they have a Gyarados that is debuffed against a Wigglytuff, a Mightyena, and a Thunderfang Steelix. So yeah, that is not gonna work. Sorry, it's just not gonna happen. And this is gonna be it for this video. This team was fantastic. Honestly, it's a very toxic, very fast team to run. I think we have like 13 battles in here in like 15 minutes. It's insanely fast. It's very strong. You went 5-0 with this team. So that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to do like, and we'll see you then. Bye bye.